Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. It doesn't matter how much information is publicly available about how historically markets have behaved, both in crypto and in the stock market. Investors are almost always wrong about everything. Completely ridiculous. And I'll also say that those investors that think that XRP is never going to hit a new all-time high, might not even survive the SEC versus Ripple case, well, they're wrong. I firmly believe that they are wrong. And fine, we need to let time pass to see who's right on that, but I could not feel more strongly on that. I happen to have intense conviction, but for a lot of reasons. I'm not just whimsically saying something like that. And also on the idea of investors getting things wrong consistently despite ample amounts of data on various topics when it comes to investing. You got to see this article. I'm going to run through this thing. This is from the Daily Hodl. This one's titled Millennials Enthusiastic About Crypto as Majority Say Stock Market Investing is Too Risky. And that's from a new study. So look, while I'm thrilled that my fellow millennials are yay about crypto, my gosh, the stock market is too risky? What are you doing in crypto then? And I understand if you look at some major stocks like Netflix, down over 70%. Like there's actually a gigantic list. I should have pulled it up for this video, but there's no shortage of, in particular, tech stocks. They're just taking a massive beating, so severe that I admit, you might, without it being labeled, you might be like, that's probably a crypto chart. Well, no, it's not. But, if you look historically at the stock market, there can be truly volatile moments, but generally speaking, far less volatility than crypto, much less risk, much more certainty, much more historical perspective. There's a lot of question marks. I mean, because look, if you're of the mindset that I have, and I think probably most of us feel like this, is like, we don't need 20,000 different cryptocurrencies, that's what we have today. Well, if most of those are going to go extinct, doesn't that represent a lot more risk than what you'd have to endure in the stock market? Because you're in the stock market, you can just buy a damn index fund, get broad exposure, and then ride that for decades on end. That doesn't sound particularly risky, despite the fact that there are times like this where there is a bit of increased volatility. People they lost their ever-loving minds, son. But before going further ado, to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And I will end on a high note, though. Like, there's no shortage of analysts that continue to beat the drum of, hey, we're at the bottom or very close to the bottom in terms of crypto prices right now on a global scale. There's no shortage of historic indicators that should make us feel confident that we're going to be moving to the upside. It's just an inevitability, and I anticipate by the time this is all said and done, I anticipate that, like even just personally for myself, I anticipate that XRP will likely be the thing that makes me the most money in my entire life. Now, I say that not counting on, rather, that's the right way to word it, not counting on XRP for my retirement, because it is risky and I don't know anything for sure. But if it goes the way I think, then depending on how high the price goes, where I'm able to sell over time, I think the risk-reward opportunity, it's going to be, at that point, quite obvious. But we do have to be patient in order to achieve something like that. And so while I think it makes more sense to put more money in less risky things like index funds and the stock market, it's obviously nowhere near as interesting and sexy as crypto. I got that. But it's like, even though I firmly believe XRP is going to outpace pretty much anything that I'm ever going to get from the stock market, it doesn't mean that I'd feel safe putting all of my money in XRP, because if I'm wrong, it's catastrophic. So that's why it makes sense to diversify, because nobody knows anything for sure. But even so, I'm going to express in this video, like, I really think people are missing the mark here. Now, XRP is 32 cents. That's going to look like an absurdly low price in a decade, I suspect. Bitcoin's at $20,407. Market cap for the asset class, $929 billion, and Bitcoin dominance at 41.9%. Crypto Fear and Greed Index, it doesn't update for a little over an hour, so it is still at 19 out of 100, indicating market participants are in extreme fear. Take a look at this hysterical picture. And I mean, it's also sad, but what you're looking at is a bunch of blocks of cheese at an Aldi supermarket with security tags. And here's the headline from Independent. Supermarkets put security tags on cheese blocks as stores tackle shoplifting amid soaring food costs. Now the picture's funny, but I'm not trying to make light of the fact that people are seriously struggling as a result of inflation, because your dollars, even if you're getting paid the same amount you were a year or two ago, those dollars don't go as far. So I'm not making light of that, but this picture, you got to admit, is pretty damn funny. I also saw there's a picture of bacon in a clear plastic container that locked at a supermarket. I should have pulled that one up for the video, actually. I was looking at locked up bacon in the refrigerated section at grocery stores. I'm like, what in the ever-loving hell is going on here? I don't even feel like I need to read the article. I'm just pointing out. I get why people feel the way they do, which is why I wanted to use that to segue into this article from the Daily Hodl. This is the one that's titled "Millennials Enthusiastic About Crypto as Majorities Say Stock Market Investing is Too Risky." So you can understand, look, what's the backdrop for all this? Why are millennials saying the things that they're saying? Well, there's damn blocks of cheese with security tags, bitch. Like, that's what kind of, is this real life? Like, I get why people feel the way that they're feeling, but it's still wrong, and there's no shortage of data to indicate that this doesn't make logical sense. People just feel things rather than research things and come to logical conclusions. Piece reads as follows. A firm allowing clients to fund retirement accounts with crypto is revealing how millennials view the stock and digital assets markets. A new study by Alto surveyed 1,200 millennials aged 25 to 40 with at least $2,500 in investable assets and $35,000 in household income. The research finds millennials are enthusiastic about virtual assets, as 39% of them hold crypto. 70% of millennials who own crypto and have an individual retirement account, or IRA for short, also hold digital assets in their IRAs. So I'll just pause to note that, look, the advent of crypto now being about 13 years ago, it's not surprising to see people in this age group, and I'm in the age group, I'm 39 years old now. It's not surprising to see that the percentage of people in that age group is higher than the average holder of crypto in the United States, for example. Which is much like, I can't remember, I could be mistaken. I think on the top of my head, somewhere more like, 15%? I'd have to double check, but I think, so anyway, but the point is to see 39% in that age group. It's actually not that surprising, but that percentage is actually going to continue increasing, so that part's actually good. People seem to get that this is not going away at increasing rates. People are understanding that. But take a look at this quote. When it comes to interest in digital assets, the vast majority of millennials either own crypto or are considering it. Almost 40% of millennials own crypto, which is greater than the percentage of millennials who own mutual funds and about equal to the number of millennials who own individual stocks. Those who own cryptocurrency are likely to include it in their retirement portfolio. Over 70% of millennials who own crypto and an IRA hold crypto in an IRA. End quote. And so look, like I said, happy to see that this is indeed the case, but the idea that this is less risky than stocks, I'm just being honest with you, like, crypto's way more exciting. I have way more fun following crypto than anything else, right? So please nobody misunderstand me here, but I'm also being a realist. There's a lot of question marks and areas where things can go wrong, undeniably. Piece continues. The survey also reveals that millennials have low confidence in the stock market, as 74% of those surveyed view equity investments as a gamble. See, this is what happens when you have security tags on blocks of cheese. When you've reached the point where you have that, there are other underlying things that are making people feel and believe stupid things. Like 74% view it as a gamble? I don't know how they get. Look, I acknowledge that you're not always going to have upward price movement in the stock market in tandem, reflecting economic output. I recently cited that. If you just look back to March 2020 when the pandemic hit and people weren't working, but stock prices are going up, I understand. But in a general sense, if you look over a span of decades, if the economy is growing, there will be more money going into stocks. Like, it's just going to happen. So despite pullbacks, I don't call that a gamble. Like, that's investing, because you're getting broad exposure to basically the entire United States economy if you're investing into an index fund that's properly situated. I mean, you could even just look at the S&P 500. Think about that. Think about the S&P 500 over the span of like 30, 40, 50 years. That's a gamble. That's more of a gamble than crypto? Are you kidding me? Now, again, I still think people can make way more money in crypto, so that's why I keep saying nobody misunderstand me. But look at how warped perceptions are from people because you've got security tags on blocks of cheese because of underlying problems. You see what's going on here? This is an incorrect perception. And if you just take a moment to look at the 100 plus years of stock market data, you can see that there are other instances where confidence was low. I'll go back to the 2008 financial collapse. It's the same type of sentiment, but it's wrong. It's definitely very, very, very wrong. My gosh. In fact, I feel so strongly about this. I haven't said this in probably a couple of years, but I still believe this. If I could only invest in one asset class, if I had to pick between the two, whether it was stocks or crypto, first of all, I think crypto would make way more money, but I have a lower level of confidence because of so many unknowns. But I do firmly believe that more money would be made. But since there's more risk associated with that, if I had to pick, if I could only invest between one or the other, I'd pick stocks. Because that's like a sure thing, right? Unless you think that the United States economy is going to cease to exist, I'll take the sure thing. I don't need crypto for retirement. I just want it for retirement. And I think it could be a substantial portion of my retirement, including if things go the way that I anticipate they will for XRP specifically, which is my largest crypto holding and my favorite cryptocurrency. So I think these people, I understand the realities of the world, why they feel this way, but they have it bass-ackwards. They just do. Piece continues. The data also shows that 76% of millennials where a market collapse could wipe out their savings, while 65% of them say they can't count on the stock market to provide the annual returns it did in the past. Furthermore, 60% of them believe that it's difficult to generate consistent gains in the stock market unless one is a professional investor. So let's pause right here again. And this is where I'll provide some sympathy, but they're still wrong. I get it right now. If your returns are getting outpaced by inflation, then it makes the stock market sound stupid, doesn't it? It does, but the government did that, okay? It's not like there's something fundamentally wrong with the stock market. We need to tamp down inflation, and they're working to do that by slowing the economy. Look at the Fed. What have they done? 3 times this year now. They've increased interest rates. So that's the right direction in order to do something like that. Now, of course, they're attempting to fix a problem that they solved because they printed the dollar into oblivion. That's what caused the damn inflation, but that's what they did. Now they're trying to fix it by slowing down the economy. And of course, they won't word it like that. But when you increase interest rates, what do you think is going to happen to economic output? You idiot sticks. Of course, that's what's going to happen here. So, no, again, sympathy, yes, but I have to state that these people that think these things, they are indeed wrong. This is not correct. You don't need to be a professional investor to put money into an index fund. You just don't. And the professional investors, you think they're the trader types. Those are the people that lose money, right? No, putting money in the stock market isn't a gamble. It's just that there are times where, investments go down. And it can be for a year or 2 or whatever. It can be for longer periods of time. But then, and history shows there's so much data, this can be proven. Then you have several years or more, we just had basically about a decade of almost nothing but upward price action for the stock market, but now it's suddenly a gamble after a decade of awesomeness? Come on, folks. I just want these people to be informed so that they can stop feeling stupid things and worrying, because it's pushing them potentially into making stupid decisions with crypto. And again, not that crypto's stupid, no. But if they already don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to investing in an index fund with the stock market, they're going to jump in and not use leverage in crypto. Are they going to understand how bad leverage is? Are they going to understand how risky it is to loan out your crypto to platforms like Celsius? Are they going to, there's so much more risk in this space, and these people clearly don't have data. That's all I'm saying here. I do believe that there's way more opportunity to make an absolute fortune in crypto, but damn, you need to have a long-term mindset even with that. If they think that stock markets are too volatile, they got another thing coming. Wait till they experience their first 80% drop from crypto markets. Yeah, they might be singing a different tune at that point. I was kind of wondering. But look, we're going to see movement to the upside. I firmly believe that in crypto markets. And I want to share with you part of this article from the Daily Hodl. Sidelined capital could flood back into Bitcoin if this happens, according to top crypto analyst. A closely tracked crypto trader is unveiling a scenario where traders waiting on the sidelines would come flooding back into Bitcoin. In a new strategy session, Don Alt says he's keeping a close watch on the 200-week moving average, an indicator that has marked the bottom for Bitcoin during its previous bear markets. According to Don Alt, a rally above the 200-week moving average would ignite Bitcoin's bullish momentum. And here's another quote. Because look, folks, prices don't go down forever, right? Here's the quote. 200-week moving average, the 200-week moving average is in an area where I think if we get back above it, it's pretty clear that it's going to go higher. They actually offer quite the trade opportunity if we start closing back above it. I think you're going to see a bunch of sideline capital move in, so it's probably going to go up. So that's the quote. It is just a matter of time. Eventually, you run out of people who are more likely to get scared when price goes down, and once those people are gone, who are you left with? You're left with the actual diamond hands. The paper hands, they get shredded up. But then the actual diamond hands are like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Which is the attitude that I take to all this crap. Like, I do not emotionally respond to this. I'm just like, cool, whatever. Don't matter. Although if there are enough paper hands, the price goes low enough, even I will be enticed to purchase further. I will say that. So all good things in time. It's just that you have to understand how long it takes for stuff like this to work itself out. It's we don't have that much data for crypto. Again, it's been around 13 years ish. XRP's been around for over a decade, but traded for less than a decade. So historically, we can look back for that, but that's not that many data points. If you look at it, like annual data points in particular, and you see that for most of the first 4 to 5 years, you're talking about mostly sideways trading, and then a huge burst up, and now we've got another 4 to 5 years ish trading in open markets, and it looks about the same in terms of sideways action. Still incredibly volatile. I'm not saying I know under XRP went from 11 cents to $2, and you know where it is now. I get it, but I'm still saying when you zoom out on a chart, if you say you have 50 years of data, that's going to look like a big nothing. Is the point that I'm making. But we don't have that many data points. But that's why I'm saying, based on the data we have, XRP is behaving very normally, and it's been treated about the same consistently by investors. That's what I'm saying. And so to the investors that say, no, XRP looks like it's never going to do anything, or regret for having not invested in other cryptos, I'm like, oh, come on. The people that say that they don't know what they're talking about, I could not disagree more. There is so much opportunity in crypto, and I still believe that XRP is the right place for me, because I don't know when markets mature to a point where utility sufficiently matters and everything else goes to zero that isn't solving a problem. So I want to have exposure primarily to cryptocurrencies that solve real problems for real people. And XRP sure as hell does that, which is why I think even if you have a cleansing of the system and XRP goes down with everything else temporarily, I think eventually it finds a bottom and it recovers, and most of the other coins don't. That's my bet. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.